I hate the phrase giving back. Why? I know it sounds a little controversial because I know a lot of you like giving, but I see giving back as something that's hindering charitable giving and is accelerating the destruction of the planet. Let me just explain where that comes from by starting with the literal definition of to give back, which is to give something back to its rightful owner that doesn't belong to us. Would you agree? Yeah? Now, obviously, as individuals, as businesses, as countries, if we have something that doesn't belong to us, then of course we need to give it back to its rightful owner. Likewise, if we're touched by personal tragedy, then it might feel natural to want to demonstrate a sense of appreciation, of gratitude, or become an agent for change to make things better. But the problem that I have with the phrase to give back is that most people think they need to wait until a better time to give back. They say things like, well, I don't have the time, or I don't have the money right now to give back. I'll do it when I've got more money. I'll do it when I've got more time. I'll do it when I've made more money before I give. But actually, the problem is we don't have that time, and maybe that's going to be too late. I don't think it's okay that 10% of the world's population live on under $1.90 a day. I don't think it's okay that over 260 million children around the world don't have access to education. And I don't think it's okay that as a human race, as a species, we are consuming resources on this planet that at rate would need 3 planets to be sustainable. We have 1. Something has to change. We have to change. As individuals, in our work, in our businesses, in our organisation, we've all got to do something now. We don't have the time to wait. Waiting to give back could be too late. We don't have time to recover lost time with our loved ones. Now is the time to be spending it with those who are still with us. We can't in any way help animals that are no longer with us, but we can help make sure we don't make any more go extinct. There are people around the world, people in our communities, charities, causes, so many people around us in the UK, in Edinburgh, wherever you're from, who need help right now. Waiting until later could be too late for them. And we're destroying the planet. We've seen that just recently with the demonstrations that we've got. We've got school children, for God's sake, who are taking time out their education to help us take more responsibility. Now is the time to take action. Some of you might recognise that as the Christmas ad that Iceland released that was banned at Christmas time, possibly because of its Greenpeace connections. However, there's no denying the fact, whether or not we liked it or not, it's hard-hitting, and it's trying to communicate an important message, which I think is a good theme for where we are today, that we need to be taking action. And the way that we can do that, the best way to do that, is to connect and work together. And that's one of the things I was hoping to do through this event, was to break down silos so we can all come together. So how do we get past giving back? It's to just give now. And the world leaders thought this was that we needed to be tackling this as well in 2015, when the leaders of all UN member states signed up to 17 global goals that you're going to be hearing a lot of over the course of today and more again tomorrow. So I'm not going to spend too much time going into these. So I'm going to ask you from today, from this moment, to stop giving back. Are you with me? Stop giving back and just give now. So we can start actually having the impact and making the changes that need to happen. Every one thought that you have that then turns into action will have a ripple effect. Although, as my husband pointed out this week, ripples run out. You maybe don't want rippling because we want them to keep going like the butterflies instead. But we want to have that contagious impact through that one thought, and that's what I'm going to encourage you to do. So stop giving back, none of this. And to just clarify what I mean by giving, because one of the other challenges with the phrase giving back is that a lot of people use it as if it's just about giving to charity or to make the world a better place or the contribution to society. Giving is so much more than giving to charity. Giving is about choosing not to consume resources because we're giving to the planet or we're looking at how we're saving things. Giving is also about giving to ourselves. And there's a spectrum of giving. So we have some people who, and typically this would be people who want to make a difference in the world, who give, and sometimes fail to look after themselves. We have other people in the world who are takers, who it's all about me. You've probably met them before. And we don't care about anybody else. And ideally, what you want to do is to be right in the middle, to have a balance of giving to yourself and giving to others. And that includes looking after yourself. It includes giving to yourself and looking after to others. In business, it includes having that balance between giving to your business and actually looking at ways you can make profits, as well as giving in other ways through the business. So you strike the balance between profits, people, and planet. So that's where we're aiming to get to. But when I started out in business, I did what many people thought they needed to do, which was to set up a business to make money, because I needed to replace my salary. That was it. I wanted to do good. And I remember asking people, well, how do I build in supporting causes? How do I build in supporting charities? And I remember my coach specifically saying, Alison, wait until you've made money before you do anything good. And so I chose to buy into that belief system until I discovered the opposite was true. That focusing on impact and partnering with causes is actually a really good way to grow your business and do good at the same time. There's no need to wait. I discovered this when I started going off to Rwanda. And I needed to raise funds for these young people who are young genocide survivors. And I needed to raise funds because I'd gone over on what I thought was going to be a one-off trip, and it ended up being a lot more. And I needed to fund the trips and fund the project. And I didn't have time. I was struggling with time to balance my business, make money through my business so I could live, as well as doing everything in my personal life. I thought, well, how do I raise the money? The only way I could do it was, rather than keeping the giving and the business separate, was to bring it in together. So I started off by making these miracle bead bracelets. And I used to take them along to networking events and sell these miracle bead bracelets. And I could make several £100s in an event. And the more and more I did it, I started to become known as the lady raising money for people in Rwanda. I got more opportunities to go and speak, but actually what was really interesting was I started getting more clients. I started getting more business because people liked what I stood for and they wanted to support it. And that was a real surprise to me. So these are just some of the fundraising things that I've done over the years: online events, offering services for donations, auctions, raffles, and at the moment we're building a school in Cambodia, which is linked to the film that you saw at the start and you'll hear more about, with a team of people who are also here. So since that first trip, which was 2010, I've been back many, many times. We've had a Hollywood award-winning documentary film produced about our work out in Rwanda that continues to educate humanitarians and therapists around the world. I think I've raised around about £50,000–60,000 personally now. I can't almost keep track of that. But I think the main thing to get across here is my business has changed significantly, and the impact I'm having has changed because of the partnerships that I made. And because I chose to lean into what I really wanted to do. And sometimes in business, we get pulled away from that. What we know in our heart or our gut is the right thing to do. So what I'm going to encourage you to do is to explore what that means for you. But that's enough about me. I want to find out more about you. So let me just ask you this question. If you were really thirsty for a cup of tea or coffee, and you had a choice between two coffee shops to go to, one who mistreated its staff, it was all about the money and was chaos. The other one was actually more of a social enterprise shop. It still offered a brilliant tea, coffee, but it looked after people, it cared, and it was doing good in the community. Hands in the air if you go to the one doing good. Now keep your hands in the air if you would also be likely to pay a little bit more for the one doing good. Yeah? Keep your hands in the air. And if you're a business that isn't already doing good and communicating what you're doing, look around the room. This is how much business you're losing. If you're a cause, look around the room. This is how many businesses you could be helping doing good, potentially. Okay? So there are lots of different opportunities for us as we go through today. This is the model that I now talk about, which is give to profit. And this is where, instead of keeping our business and giving separate, we actually bring them in together. If you're a solopreneur, then it's about looking at what you stand for, your values, bringing that into your business so you can have impact. If you are representing an SME, a corporate, an organisation, a cause, you're looking at the values of all your people, not just the leadership team, seeing how that aligns to the mission statement and bringing that into the business and looking at how you can incorporate it across all areas of the business. Not in the way that CSR used to be, as the tick box exercise that was stuck on the peripheral of a business. This is about bringing it into the business. So over the course of the day, what we're going to be encouraging you to do is to just come on this journey. These are the steps that I talk people through in terms of having more impact, which first of all is about getting clear on the impact you want to have, defining your impact mission statement, coming up with the ways of doing that, the different strategies across your business or organisation, measuring your impact, and then looking at ways to tell your story. We're going to be taking you on that journey through today. You also have a handout on your table that opens up that sort of covers all of these different areas as well. I think that is the handouts out on the table. Yes, we've got them out. So feel free to fill them in as you're going through the day if you've got any insights. For those who are here for the second day, we'll be covering that in more detail again tomorrow. My message at the start of today is stop giving back. Just give now. We have so much opportunity to have more impact, each and every one of us. So I encourage you to have those conversations, to speak to each other, to make those connections, and please do share what's coming up on social media, and also we've got different things that are happening around the room, and I'll connect with you more. But above anything else today, remember that every single thought you have matters, and what you do next matters. Thank you.